This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love? They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, or so I have been told. They say we're buried far, just like a distant star I simply cannot hold. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? I still believe in summer days. The seasons always change, and life will find a way. I'll be your harvester of light and send it out tonight so we can start again. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? The storm is coming soon, it rolls in from the sea. My love, a beacon in the night, my words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive?
Good morning. I'm Reverend Jennifer Nordstrom. I'm honored to serve this congregation as your senior minister. Our opening words this morning are the poem Blessing for the Longest Night by Jan Richardson. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you this blessing will reach you. Even if you have not light enough to read it, it will find you, even if you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by the release of your breath that you have held so long, a loosening of the clenching of your hands and of the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that had drawn itself so close around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads, knows the resting spots along the path, knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So when this blessing comes, take its hand, get up, set out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that in any direction you go, you will be walking toward the dawn. Will you rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 55, Dark of Winter?
Good morning. I'm Reverend Kimberly Tomchuk Carlson. It is my honor to serve as your Minister of Religious Education. The story we have for you today is called Hope, and it's by Corinne Avris. Comet, the dog, was Finn's very best friend. He loved to walk Finn in the park. He loved to sit close by Finn when he played, and best of all, he loved to fall asleep in Finn's den, which is an indoor tent. But one day, Comet wouldn't leave his bed. Not for walks, not for trains, not for a snooze in Finn's den. He's sick, Mom said. He needs to go to the vet. Finn wrapped Comet in his favorite blanket, and Dad gently lifted him into the car. "What's gonna happen?" asked Finn. "Well, we'll try and fix him," said the vet. "He may get better or he may get worse, but we will look after him." "Can I stay with him?" Finn asked Dad, and Dad just shook his head. At home, Finn crawled into his den and he pulled down the flap so it was dark and his eyes filled with tears. A little spot appeared on the wall and it swirled around and then disappeared. "Can I come in?" It was Dad with a flashlight. "You look sad." "I feel sad too," he said. "What can we do?" sighed Finn. "All we can do is hope." Dad gave the flashlight to Finn. Hope is keeping a little light on, however dark things seem. As Dad left, Finn flicked off the flashlight and then on again and then off and then on and off and on. Hoping was not easy, but Finn would do anything for Comet, so he kept his little light on. Through dinner, Finn hoped that Comet was feeling brave. In the bathtub, he hoped that someone was scratching behind his ears just the way he liked. And at story time, he hoped that Comet would come home feeling better than ever. While he was hoping, things didn't seem so bad. "I'm hoping hard," he told Dad as he kissed him goodnight. "I know," said Dad. "Me too." Finn couldn't sleep. He stared at his light on the wall. Suddenly, it was joined by even a bigger light coming through the window. The moon, full and bright in the night sky. Hope is keeping the light on, however dark things seem, he thought. "Thank you, moon." And he sent out his biggest hope yet, the hope that Comet knew how much he loved him. The more Finn hoped, the more lights he saw appearing in the sky until his eyes began to close and he drifted off to sleep. As Finn slept, his hopes twinkled with others in the night sky. Big hopes, little hopes, old ones and new ones. Light shimmered down on the vet's clinic on the other side of town. All the animals lay quiet and still as the hopes of their humans shone through the windows to find them. "Wake up, sleepyhead," Dad shouted. Finn jumped up and he ran downstairs as fast as he could, so fast he slipped on the left step and landed on his bottom. Ugh. On the floor, he found himself in front of Comet's bed. His favorite blanket lay inside. But where was Comet? Had Dad returned without him? Was he still sick? But then, woof! Comet! Finn held him close. "He's tired, but so much better," said Mom. "I hoped for you," said Finn. "I hoped to the moon and back." Comet was soon well enough to walk in the park again, and Comet was even allowed to snooze in the den whenever he liked. The end.
I want to invite you all into a time of contemplation now, which will be followed by silence, followed by the seated singing of the hymn 123, Spirit of Life. So just take a minute and get comfortable in your pew or your chair. Find yourself where you are. Maybe that means feeling your sit bones resting beneath you, or maybe it means feeling your feet on the floor grounding you. Maybe it means feeling the very top of your head reaching up into the air and connecting you to all that is. Maybe it means feeling your breath moving in and out of your body. Whatever it is, let it bring you into being here, now. Spirit of life and love, Holy One of our being and our becoming, that which is sacred within, among, and beyond us. Come be with us this December morning as the lights grow shorter and the nights grow longer. Love be with us in all the ups and downs our lives take, the uncertainty, the ambiguity of what may come. Hold us in the waiting. Be with us as we wonder and help us hold out hope for the best. Help our hearts be open to wonder, to love, to new life being born yet again. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Don Weimer, and I'm pleased to be your worship associate this morning. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you are carrying with you today and all your heart longs to set down. We welcome you who are watching online as we live stream this service. Hello, online folks. We especially welcome guests joining us today. If you are a visiting guest, we invite you to fill out a welcome card located in the back of the pew in front of you and drop it in the offering plates that come around in a few minutes. Please join us for a social hour after the service across the hall in the Lean House Common Room. Some accessibility notes. You can find hearing assisted devices and large print hymnals in orders of service at the back of the sanctuary, as well as worship activity bags for the children and anybody else who wants them. There's a fragrance-free area in the front right pews. If you're watching online, you can enable YouTube's closed caption on your viewing device. We have some announcements today. Our Earth Justice Ministry team is meeting today at 12:30 in the parlor to continue developing relationships and planning actions, including the election priority for First Church in 2024. Bagels are provided. All members and friends are welcome. Help make Christmas Eve receptions festive by signing up at the member services table starting today, and to donate finger food items and to help with reception preparation. The Holiday Giving Tree needs you to choose a tag and a gift for a child at the Northside YMCA Early Child Development Education Center. United Way's Holiday Giving Tree program helps provide gifts for local children who may otherwise go out without this holiday season. Gifts need to go to the YMCA by December 10th, so don't delay. Pick up your tag at the RE table in the Lean Hounds Common Room today and bring it to church next week. Next Friday, sign up to join the First Church Jingle Bus on December 8th at 6 p.m. as we admire the winter wonderland scenes throughout downtown. Tours are $5 a person. Price waivers are available on request. Registration required. Sign up online or at the RE table. That concludes our announcements. Please join me in a unison affirmation of our mission, which is printed in your order of service. We gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action. Every week, we have an opportunity to practice our values through sharing our resources. Our pledges are at the core of our spiritual practice of generosity. In addition, the church shares half of its non-pledge cash in our offering plate with a community organization, practicing our value of interdependence. Today, we share the plate with just one more ministry. May the practice of giving bring us joy. The offering will be gratefully received now as together we sing our children's recessional hymn, number 118, This Little Light of Mine. I invite all children, youth, and RE volunteers to sing the first verse of the hymn and then follow Reverend Kimberly to the Lean Hounds Common Room and downstairs for religious education. If your child needs to check in for RE, please accompany them to the common room now. We'll sing this hymn while seated, so it's easier with the offering collection. Please join us in singing hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine. I'd like to talk about a mystery that's been in my life for about 50 years. That is my partnership with my wife, Chris Linder. I need you to know that what I'm about to say has been reviewed by Chris, who had full veto authority. We met about 50 years ago. I was an underemployed college dropout working as a second shift dishwasher in a large franchise restaurant. She was a graduate student returning from overseas research in the former Yugoslavia. She was so sophisticated. Now, you may know Chris is taller than I am, older than I am. At the time, she was much better educated. We have different tastes in film, music, theater, art. Our values are in sync, but not much else. By most measures, an unusual pairing, especially in the early 1970s. When we first got together, neither of us expected it. We were both surprised. It turns out we weren't the only ones. We were quite the topic of discussion among our little circle of activist friends, usually along the lines of, what is she doing with him? People have been surprised by our pairing ever since. Our kids have commented on it. Colleagues, friends here at church, someone who might know each of us separately from our different activities, see us together, and you can see their eyes going back and forth. And then, what? Wait, you two? And sometimes it was even stated out loud. As I said, it's a mystery. In 1974, we had no idea how well this would work out. Over the decades, we've had kids, more education, evolving interests, careers ups and downs, grandkids, aging, and health issues. And we've had some great adventures, and I'm going to talk about one of them. By 2011, we'd been together for 3.5 decades. I was a faculty member at Milwaukee Area Technical College, and I got a sabbatical. The sabbatical had 2 goals: a professional goal of writing a textbook for my class, and a personal goal of living in Spain and studying flamenco guitar. Chris, meanwhile, took Spanish classes, Spanish lessons, went to art museums, and generally wandered about Seville. After living in Seville for 3 months, we took the ferry from Tarifa across the Strait of Gibraltar to Morocco, where we stayed there for several weeks. We had been traveling all day, and Chris was exhausted, so she rested in the hotel room, and I grabbed my guitar and I went down to the outdoor patio at the hotel to practice this music I'd been learning. So there was a guy sitting there watching, and we struck up a conversation. It turns out he's a Spanish architect on a business trip in Morocco. He plays a little flamenco guitar, he says. Would I mind if he played my guitar? I'm not that good, he said. Well, you know, he was great. The guy was really good. I got spanked with my own guitar. So I'm sitting there feeling all sorry for myself, because this guy's so much better than I am, when a couple hundred yards down the road, the call to prayer rings out from the mosque. Something clicked right then. I realized I'm sitting here overlooking the Mediterranean at sunset in Tangier. The call to prayer is going out, and I'm trading flamenco licks with a really good guitarist. How did I get here? What happened? Talk about a moment of wonder. They make movies with scenes like that, and I'm in it. And that wasn't the only amazing experience on that trip, or let alone that week. And honestly, I don't see how this could have happened without this mysterious partnership. That trip was one result of decades of working together, supporting each other's goals, arguing, negotiating, compromising, making decisions and living with the consequences. A cascade of events that we went through together, which ended up with us living in Seville. So I joined the church here, and The choir rekindled my love of music. My love of music rekindled my love of guitar, which led us going to Seville, living in Seville, which led us taking that ferry across to Tangier and sitting on that patio that evening. That was 12 years ago. We've had a lot of fun since. We had a lot of fun before and after. The adventures keep coming. I guess the story's still being written. It's a mystery. I don't understand it. I don't need to understand it. I just get to enjoy it. Thank you.
Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say once gone, you're gone forever, and some say you're gonna come back. Some say you rest in the arms of the Savior in the sinful ways you lack. Some say that they're coming back in a garden, bunch of carrots and little sweet peas. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, so it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Some say they're going to a place called glory, and I ain't saying it ain't a fact. But I've heard that I'm on the road to purgatory, and I don't like the sound of that. Now I believe in love, live my life accordingly. I choose to let the mystery be. Everybody is wondering what and where they all came from. Everybody is worried about where they're gonna go when the whole thing's done. No one knows for certain, but it's all the same to me. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Think I'll just let the mystery be. Think I'll just let the mystery be.
I am going to confess one of my guilty pleasures to you. I am a person who likes the genre of joyful surprise videos on YouTube. Now, two of my favorite subgenres of this surprise video genre are dogs reuniting with their owners after a long period of separation, and prospective parents surprising their loved ones with the news that they're expecting a child. It is a long and deep rabbit hole, my friends. And I cried joyful tears the whole way down. In an old favorite, a man is sitting on a park bench after having been away from his dog for years. The man has changed. He looks different. He's older, maybe thinner. He's been in prison or maybe a hospital, and it has been a long, hard time since he and his dog have seen each other. Now, when his dog approaches him, he is suspicious and he creeps up, sort of growling with his tail down, moving slowly, while the man sits stock still and waits. But when the dog gets within a few feet of the man, he finally recognizes his scent, and the dog's body bursts into joy, and then he's jumping and running and licking the man's face and wagging his tail so hard that his butt is swinging wildly. It is laughing, clapping, crying joy. The unknown can sometimes contain the best surprises. It can also genuinely contain the worst. It makes it hard to sit in the waiting room, in the spaces of ambiguity when we genuinely don't know how the story will end. It can be hard to even hope for the best when we know that the worst is on the table. We're in a season of darkness now, where the night is growing longer and longer and the cold is deepening. Many traditions tell stories of light during this time of year, stories of mystery and miracle and the return of the sun. It's also a time when the soul settles down into itself, a feeling that can be restful or distressing, depending on your soul's sense of safety and your relationship with stillness. In our part of the world, nature itself is settling in. Nature is growing quiet and hunkering down for the fallow part of the year when the seeds are nesting deep in the ground and the bears are retreating to their caves and the geese are heading south for the season. Our own fallow waiting might look different in our capitalist world of keep on going through the freezing cold. But there's still a quality to this season that calls the quiet. Our bodies still respond to the darkening earth and to natural patterns of stillness. What does fallow time, stillness, waiting feel like for you? Is there maybe some bit of news that you're waiting for, or someone you're waiting for, or who is waiting for you? Or maybe you're just noticing that your body is slowing down, or your sleep is getting longer, or your desire for sleep is growing. In the Christian tradition, we're in the season of Advent. That word, Advent, it means the arrival of something notable, something important. For Christians, in the Advent season, it's the arrival of the baby, Jesus, and the season is about preparing for that miracle, for the baby. At the beginning of that story, a virgin named Mary is visited by the archangel Gabriel, who tells her that she will give birth to a son who is the Son of God and will be the king of Jacob's people forever. And Mary's like, cool. But I'm a virgin, so talk about a surprise expectant parent video. But the angel was like, don't worry about it. The Holy Spirit's going to take care of it. And Mary was like, oh, okay, that sounds legit. The story that gets told at this time of year is one of delight, one of mystery and miracle and new life, babies being born. Every year here at First Church on Christmas Eve, we read Sophia Lyon-Faz's poem, "Every Night a Child is Born is a Holy Night." And then I tell a different birth story about the miracle and promise of every sacred human life being born. In Unitarian Universalism, we believe that each sacred life is a miracle, an original blessing in community on this earth. And also, each human life contains suffering. Each of us is born with death as the twin of our lives, with the known shadow of life that is death, always with us. The very real consequence of being born, of being alive, is mortality. Every new parent lives with the holy terror of their child's death as part of the joy-filled and complicated and sometimes boring and often challenging and occasionally terrifying journey of being a parent. Each life contains the certainty of death baked in. But the ambiguity of life's journey, with its twists and its turns, its hopes and its tragedies, is strung along a mysterious line between the two certain poles of life and death. Faz writes in her poem that parents, quote, sitting beside their children's cribs, feel the glory in the sight of new life beginning. They ask, where and how will this new life end, or will it ever end? For each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping. We don't know what will happen. We don't know what will happen in our lives or the lives of those we love. We don't know how the story goes. There is a mystery at the heart of the universe that shows up in our individual lives as ambiguity. We don't know how our stories will go. We don't know how our particles will collide, how our collection of energy will decide and run into other collections of energy, and how we will impact one another and change ourselves. We don't know how the world will run and weave and fold and transform. Both the best and the worst of life is contained in this mystery. The laughing, clapping reunion of dog and owner, the new baby, the mystery of love, the comfort of human kindness, and the terrible news, the diagnosis, the unimaginable loss, the renewed war, the cruelty, the violence. The ambiguity between those two poles can feel terrifying. And we hold one another, we show up for one another in the waiting times, in the stillness and the quiet. And we practice holding out hope, because the ambiguity also contains the best that can happen. The surprising ways that the worst stories, collectively and individually, can twist and turn back to love with time. In the story of Christmas, for example, the story that gets told this season, there is this new human life that is born. And it's celebrated as all lives should be, with stars and gifts and song and hope. And then that life, that particular human life that we talk about in the Christmas story, is also embedded in poverty, in empire, in a ruler's cruelty. Early twists and turns in that story include ethnic cleansing and running from violence at home and becoming refugees. And as that life goes on, some pretty amazing things happen too. Incredible love and beautiful stories and miracles and human beings creating life-giving community together. But the story, Jesus' life story, it ends kind of badly. Except that's not the end of that story. There are some really surprising twists and turns and ways that love lives beyond death, and that human community carries love and hope against all odds, resisting violent oppression and insisting that there is more meaning to this life than power and violence and control. And still, even there, the story does not end. It keeps going through that community's encounter with empire and violence and resistance and transformation and returning to love again and again. And even now, the story continues. That started with one life 2,000 years ago. It's not over. It's still living with us in our relationships with hope and resistance and empire, and also with how we engage with that particular and complicated story in this particular and complicated society, and how communities continue to reinterpret it and change and transform themselves. Stories are like that. They keep on going and changing and transforming. They live beyond individual human lives, both changing them and changing with them as we change and grow and transform in community. The Christmas story is both one story and 1,000 stories. 1,000,000 stories, an infinite number of stories that get interpreted and reinterpreted as we change and make meaning together over time. Studies have shown that human beings are actually pretty bad at predicting how much we will change over time. We're pretty good at looking back and seeing how different our lives are today than they were 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. But when we are asked to imagine how different our lives might be 5 years or 10 years from now, most of us imagine they'll be fairly similar. And they won't. We'll change as much in the next 5 years or 10 years as we have in the previous 5 or 10. And that might sound exciting or it might sound terrifying, but the good news is that some of those changes will be beautiful beyond your wildest imaginings. Some of the twists and turns of life will be joy-filled surprises, even ones that come on the heels of terrible loss. Some of those twists and turns will be new life and new love that you had no idea was coming. As long as you're alive, the story isn't over. And as long as storytellers are alive, the bigger story, our shared story, our collective story, it's not over. our individual pieces of the story keep going through the community's story and the way that we live on through our shared knowing of one another. And in that big, twisting story, there is beauty that we haven't even been able to imagine yet. But we're part of it because we're here and we're living into that beauty and that possibility right now. In London in 1926, a 35-year-old fledgling author was grieving her mother's death when her husband of 12 years told her that he was in love with another woman and he asked for a divorce. The couple had a 7-year-old daughter. They were married when they were in their early 20s, and the woman was absolutely devastated by her husband's abandonment in her time of grief. She felt like she had lost everything, and she struggled to find meaning in her life. She chose to continue on for her daughter, but she didn't see a point in her own life. All the love and all the joy had gone out of it. Over the course of the next year, she reached out for support as she struggled. She moved in with friends. She sought psychiatric care. In that time, she republished some older stories because she was struggling too much emotionally to write anything new, and she needed the money. But everything at that time felt like a chore. Writing, living, parenting. And then a series of surprises took her life down a path that she never expected. First, the woman's 1926 novel started to take off. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, a novel featuring a clever detective named Hercule Poirot, turned a woman who wrote her first detective novel to win a bet with her sister into a household name. You might have heard of her, Agatha Christie. And then, after an interesting conversation at a dinner party, the woman decided to go on an adventure to mend her broken heart. She booked a solo ticket on the Orient Express, which led not only to one of her most famous novels, but also to her meeting her second husband, the love of her life, Max Mallowan. They were married in 1930, and they were together until Christie's death 46 years later. In 1926, Agatha Christie was so grief-ridden that she did not see the point in living. By 1930, her career had taken off, and she had married the love of her life. She lived for another half-century, and she became the world's best-selling novelist of all time, outsold only by Shakespeare and the Bible. Life is surprising. It contains awfulness, as one of Christie's novels will surely tell you about. But it also contains the most amazing surprises, things that you can't even imagine yet. And the surprises will keep on coming. Some of them will be twists and turns of life that contain beauty and love and connection around corners that you cannot see. It doesn't take away any of the loss or the horror, but there is still beauty in the future. If you're still here, then it's not the end of the story yet. And there is hope in that unknown stretching out in front of you. There's love and luck and joy yet to come, even if it feels like it's been years since it's been here. It's coming. I promise. May it be so.
Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright.
Our stories are still going, dear ones. And if you're still here, there's more joy, more love, and more beauty yet to come. Will you please rise in either body or spirit for our recessional hymn number 108, My Life Flows On.